Hello. I've been making some pressurised alcohol stoves recently out of aluminium or aluminum beverage cans. I've seen many people on the internet making these things over the years, but I've added a little feature, which is a little valve on the top. You can press it down and let the alcohol into the stove. Then when you release it, it seals. You then pour some alcohol into the dish at the top and light it, which starts the process of evaporating the alcohol inside. This last one here is actually the final design, which works well. To build this style of stove, you will only need the bases of 3 cans, cut about 4 centimeters from their bottoms. One for the base of the stove, another for the top. The dish is only used out of the base of the 3rd can. It must be cut out, so it will fit inside the base of another can. The top part of the stove will need a neat clean hole drilled in the top of it. A coil of can wall is put in the center of the stove. This will give you that nice springy action. Then press it all together like so. Of course, in real life, it's a lot harder than that because you're trying to press 2 objects into one another that have the same dimensions. Okay, for my next trick I made a little wire square, and then I made another 3 of those, and then I made a little pot stand, a little foldable pot stand for a pot. And then I decided to add some windshielding to the pot out of the remains of the other cans, and I sanded off the advertising on the outside of it. Just wrapped it round the cans. Here I'm trying out the pot stand for the first time. It was quite breezy, so it was a good test. Always good to find nice, clean water. Huh. Oh, come on. Look at that fall. So I was quite happy with the way the stove burnt. You can see the gas escaping out of the holes and burning. I wasn't very happy with the way the stove stand was, so I made another one out of a coffee can. I ended up just cutting a large window in the can for some air circulation. Those aluminium cross sections keep the stove in the centre of the pot stand. Here's a demonstration of putting alcohol into the stove. I wouldn't recommend using a cigarette lighter. So I had this here on the boil for about 12 minutes. And there was about 700 milliliters of water in the pot. We can see after 12 minutes it's just started to boil. Thing weighs 52 grams, which is quite light. And here I've done a rough calculation of how much alcohol it uses per hour. 12 minutes, yes, 145 grams an hour, versus one of these, which are a lot heavier, 127 grams. And this thing claims to use 230 grams an hour, which is the size of one of those canisters you buy for it. Here I've done a bit of a safety test for the stove. To see how safe an alcohol stove can be. So tipping on its side didn't let any alcohol leak out, which I was quite impressed about. It's only when I tipped it upside down when things went terribly wrong. Yeah, I did this with an earlier prototype. It's pretty good. About as safe as an alcohol stove can get, I think. So in conclusion, these things are light and cheap, and a butane burner is heavier and more expensive but would heat up the water twice as fast, so my opinion is unformed. But you have your own by now anyway.